Hey guys, welcome to another episode of A Good Morning Cup of Joe and a book review. I am your host, JL Hickey, but all my friends call me Joe, so pick or choose your choice. Today we're doing the book review and a cup of Joe, and I got my BK cup of Joe, which is a little lackluster, to be honest with you. Sometimes the BK cup of coffee in the morning hits the spot. That one, it tastes like water. So it's not that great. Let's see. We are reviewing, ladies and gentlemen, the Sun Down Motel by Simone St James. Now, I've never heard of Simone St James. I was just kind of rummaging through my nook trying to figure out a different read. I had a couple authors I wanted to look into, and it popped up as an author that I might like. I have no idea why I clicked on it. I had a lot of good reviews. Well, I should say a lot of reviews in general. The cover didn't jump out at me, but sometimes I like to find unsuspecting authors I've never heard of and jump into a book with very little knowledge of what I'm reading at all. Just maybe the blurb, and that's even a maybe. I don't read the reviews. Sometimes I just look to see how many reviews they have. And so I didn't really know what I was getting into. I knew it was some kind of horror, and I knew there was some kind of supernatural element to the book, and that's about it. And I decided to go ahead and jump the gun on it. Surprisingly enough, after I posted a few times on my social media, a handful of people reached out to me and said they had read the book, and we talked a bit about whether or not they liked it, yada yada yada, that kind of stuff. So Simone St James isn't necessarily an author that no one's ever heard of. She's nationally distributed. She's she's not an independent author by any means. She obviously has a pretty good career because her books are selling fairly well. I had just never heard of her. So I picked it up, and we're going to talk about the review. To be fair, I don't do these things rehearsed. I go in and I just kind of jump in with my cup of coffee and my thoughts, and I kind of talk out loud the way I felt about a book. So I'm not sure how I feel about this one. So as I discuss and chat with you guys, you'll see me kind of pondering how I felt. The first thing I like to do, and I really enjoy this, is we do a little game called and it's not necessarily one word, it's more like one thought. I should probably change the title to that. So what I do is, for 10, 30 seconds, I just rattle off words, thoughts, and ideas that I think of when I think of this book to help me kind of formulate what it's about. I don't like going into too much detail about the plot. You can read that in the back of the book. You can go to the website on your Kindle or your Nook and read about it. So I don't want to go into that kind of stuff. So let's play that game. The one word, one thought game for Simone St James, Sun Down Motel. Average. Interesting. Dual plot line. Dual perspective. A bit confusing. Timelines blend in. I'm not sure why the author went with the supernatural element. I say that because I don't think it needed to be there. I think the creepy factor would have stayed the same. I think it took away from the creepy factor, throwing in the supernatural aspect, because for me that part of it was probably the least interesting. What do they call them? Armchair detectives. So that's really what the story's about. It's about two females being armchair detectives trying to figure out what's going on from situations, not necessarily in their past, but in their family's past and things like that. Good dialogue. Enjoyed the characters. Actually, I really enjoyed the characters now that I sit back and think about it. The two female protagonists were very interesting. A little muddled at times. And I think I'll wrap up the one word, one thought, because nothing else is really coming to mind. But let's break that down a little bit. Now that I threw that out there and I kind of got where my quick gut reaction was, I have two main problems with this book that stops me from giving it a must blow your mind read, and that would be, again, that supernatural element felt forced. There is a ghost story. That won't ruin anything. There's a ghost story that's within the novel, and I just don't know if it needed to be there. I don't feel like it added anything to the story. If anything, it took away from the suspense of what was really interesting in the story. It felt like an added layer to a cake that you didn't need. It was already a good cake, and then you put, I don't know, some weird frosting design on top to try to make it look a little more spectacular, and it wound up taking away from the already really engaging cake. That's a terrible analogy. I don't bake. I don't know how to make a cake. I eat a lot of cake. I'm kind of fat, so take that for what it's worth. With that being said, I really did like the characters. That's one of the things I think stood out the most is the two main characters, the two different timelines of these female protagonists trying to figure out what's going on in the small town where there's a bunch of basically murders that have gone unsolved for young women. And that was a really good story. That was. The ghost story element, again, this wasn't having it. Yeah, guys. So, I am going to give this, I'm going to have to give it a C. Now, don't get super mad. Don't start flooding about how I don't know good books, because a C is a good rating. A C is still you should give it a read. A is awesome, explosive. Even if you don't like the genre, you should read it and love it. B is going to be above average for the genre if you love it. So, like, let's say you like mystery thrillers, and I'm like, you know what? You'll like it because you like the genre, and it's definitely a good book. But it's not like, if you've never read the genre, you shouldn't start here kind of thing. C is good. C is a good book. If you like the genre, if you like that author, this is definitely a read, right? But if you're not into that genre, it's not one that you're going to go into and go, whoa, this changes my mind about mystery thrillers. I normally read romance, bro. Today, though, I might try mysteries and thrillers because I loved it. No, this Simone St James is, if you like horror, if you like thriller, it's a good book. It's worth $6 in my opinion. Would I pay $12 for it again? Probably not. I'd catch it on sale. I might buy it at a used bookstore. Definitely wouldn't spend $25 on a hardcover. I may or may not read The Broken Girls. She's definitely, I liked her. I'm not rushing out to the store to buy the rest of her books, put it that way. D would be, if you really love the genre and you got nothing else to read, maybe you should read this book. And then it just goes from there. So C is still a really good read. If you do like this genre, you'll like this book. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I really liked the armchair detective part about this. I really thought it was interesting the way, I think one of the reasons why I liked it so much is I wrote, my book I just got contracted myself is about an armchair detective in this age of internet, this age of information at our fingertips, and it's so easy to get to, and it's not that difficult for us to, get caught up in these true crime podcasts and start digging into our own research. I really liked that aspect about this novel, and I think it was extremely well done. And so, yeah, awesome, guys. I would love to know what you guys thought about Sun Down Motel if you've read it. I would also love to know if it's something you'd be thinking about reading. As always, I appreciate your support, and if you get a chance, we're trying to break into that 100. We're at 65. We've been there for a couple weeks, so hopefully you'll like the content I'm bringing out, and I would love to discuss books and comments and what you guys are reading, what you think I might enjoy. All right, guys. Much love. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. I am currently reading Lovecraft Country. Wow, that book's good. You gotta check that review out. That one's gonna be tops. As my buddy Noah would say, it slaps.